Hello guys, welcome to my channel Miss Recap. Today I am going to explain 2017 animated action adventure movie called Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. The story begins with two mischievous children. They were both friends and class fellows. One of them is George and the other is Harold. They make comics together. George is good at writing comics while drawing for him is done by Harold. But his principal did not like him making comics. His principal even did not like both of them because they used to do mischief and pranks all day long and trouble the principal and tease the whole school. They used to trouble everyone. They were so clever that they used to leave no trace of their mischief. Because of this, they escaped from the punishment of the principal. They made a treehouse for fun, where they used to do mischief after school and used to write comics. The most interesting chapter of their comic book was Captain Underpants, and the main character of the comic book was none else than their principal. He used to work like a superhero in his incomplete clothes. Anyway, the story moves forward and we see that one day there is a science exhibition in their school. One of the students made a lot of inventions, but no one was interested in his invention and the things he made. The whole school was getting bored, so what do these kids do? They damage the turbo toilet from where all the tissue papers start flying, and like this all the kids starts having fun means that the entire science exhibition gets ruined. Now, as we know that after doing any mischief, they don't leave any evidence. But this time something went wrong because the smart kid who had done a lot of inventions had made a lot of things. Also made a turtle in which there was a camera. And this camera recorded all the actions, so this time they got trapped. And the principal was happy that finally for the first time, he got some evidence to punish them. Because of this invention, he punishes them that now they will not be in the same class, but will be in different classes and will not be able to do mischief. Because of this, they were sad and think that he will have to do something. What they can do? They think that we steal the camera and delete all the recordings. This way neither anyone will know that we did that, nor will the principal punish us. They secretly go to the principal's office to complete the plan, but the principal was smarter than them. He hides the turtle in his socks and says, "Look, we have come for this, but you will not get it. I don't trust you both, so I will take it with me." Now, to tease them, the principal starts signing the letter in front of them in which it was said that they will be in different classes, but before the principal signs it, George quickly hypnotized the principal with his ring, which came out of his cornflakes. This way, the principal gets trapped. After the principal gets hypnotized, they will do whatever they want. But they did not even expect that the fake ring can hypnotize the principal. This thing gives more fun. They make their principal sometimes a cat, a monkey, and sometimes a hero of their comic means Captain Underpants. That means the superhero of their comic world who was in incomplete clothes. Now, after becoming Captain Underpants, the principal goes out and troubles everyone. Now they face trouble that they can't even control him and they feel he has become a superhero in real. That's why they were a balloon gorilla and thinks that is a real gorilla and to kill it. They climb on a big building. The result of all this was they fall from the building but nothing bad happened. A bank was being robbed and they fall on robbers. They really did a superhero job means they saved from being robbed. Before people gather, George and Harold take them away, saying that he's our grandfather. They bring them to their tree house and after experimenting on them, they find out that whenever they pour water on the principal, he will come to his senses and the effect of being hypnotized will fade. And as they snap their fingers, the principal will be hypnotized again and will start listening to them. This was a good thing, but for now, they had to save themselves from the principal. They bring the principal to his senses and take him out of their control and immediately make him unconscious and somehow put him on a skateboard and drop him to his house. Now, after reaching home, they find none in the principal's house and he's alone. Now they realize that this is why the principal is so rude and weird. His life is so boring. The story goes on and the next day, we see George and Harold in school party dresses. Because now they did not have any tension of the principal. They could control the principal whenever they wanted. Now the principal will become furious to see them like this. He scolds them and gives them a letter to go and sit in different classes, but before anyone hears this, they snap their fingers and hypnotize the principal and controls him. They were doing more weird things than the principal liked. They tell him that You should be friend with the school's nanny. Now under their control, the principal also hires a mad science teacher. The kids were worried because of hiring him. This principal was named Poopy. Kids think that let's take his class for a day and the next day we will control the principal and get him out of here. But then what? They were in their class and before going to the class, they tell the principal, you don't have to do anything, you just have to sit in anger, and the principal does everything as per their instructions. When they left, the principal sees a water gun and the water falls on the principal. When he drives it as the water falls, he comes to his senses. While on the other side, the professor was talking to the kids as if he thought there should not be laughter in this world. He shows the kids a picture of a brain and says people laugh because of the purple part and I want to do such an invention with the help of which this part should be taken out then. No one should laugh in this world. There will be no laughter in this world. All the kids get scared but they ask him, why do you want this? But he doesn't answer. George and Harold felt something was wrong. They went to find out about this matter, so they come back to the principal office. But when they come here, they find out that the principal had come to his senses, but it didn't matter. They hypnotize him again while snapping and take the science teacher file on which his name was written Poppy Pants. This name was very funny. They not only enjoys this name but also make comic books on this name. The next morning, they distribute it to the whole school. The next day, when the science teacher comes to the school, George and Harold laugh at him in the guise of girls and their laughter makes the science teacher furious. He locks them up in the jail and go to the next class, and in the next class, they all were laughing at him. The reason for their laughter is that they find a comic book on which he read his name and remembered his old life. He was a genius professor and made big inventions. When he was being rewarded for these inventions, instead of praising him, everyone makes fun of him. With his name, everyone laughs at him. This was the reason that he didn't write his name, just write PP, and wanted to end the laughter of all the children, so that no one laughed at anyone or feels insulted. Now the science teacher takes the comic book to the principal in anger, but the principal was in control of George and Harold. So he told this comic book is a history book and start reading it. In all this, they get an idea and remember the smarter boy of the class who did a lot of inventions. He thinks that no one but only this child can help me, so he includes this child in his plan. His plan was that he will remove the laughing part from everyone's mind and no one will be able to make fun of anyone. The science teacher starts experiments on the boy, and while experimenting, it discovers he is also like them. And he has no sense of humor, means he also didn't laugh ever. Seeing this, the science teacher becomes happy. He thinks if this child and I work together, then we can easily remove the laughter from the world. George and Harold were shown who hypnotized the principal and arranged a fun fair in the school. And all the children in this fun fair were enjoying a lot as well as the principal. He was out of their control here. The night appears but he didn't get tired of having fun. And then in the night, as the rainwater falls on his head, he regains consciousness, becomes the principal and sees, what am I doing? Now he was going to scold George and Harold, but George and Harold wanted to use their magic before he could say anything. But now their snap magic was over. It was not working and they were separated. They were worried, but suddenly Turbo Toilet comes to their city, which was made by George and Harold's smart class fellow. The science teacher made it huge and made it so that now this toilet can spread destruction in the whole city. While snatching everyone's laughter, the whole city was watching this. George and Harold were also worried to see this. During this, the principal comes to them. They don't think anything else, and when they snap, their luck works. The principal was under their control and they make him Captain Underpants, means a superhero. They send him to fight with the scientist. He goes to fight him with enthusiasm. But because he was not a real superhero, that's why the scientist has caught him. George and Harold were not so bad that they will see their principal in danger. So they immediately go to the science teacher and apologize to him for making fun of his name. Even now they were admiring his name, but maybe now this is useless. And the anger of this teacher was not getting calmed down. He caught them and snatched their laughter. He makes their brains small, but maybe this experiment of the science teacher will not affect them, because they have a strong sense of humor. When the brain becomes small, they remember the act they do together. Remembering this, they laugh a lot that the turbo toilet made by the scientist damages being insane. Likewise, the laughter of the kids snatched by the turbo toilet got their laughter back. All the children start playing, but the science teacher becomes furious, seeing them, and he takes out his gun, then can make things huge or small. He caught George and Harold with his gun. Before he could do more destruction, the principal enters with a new superpower as superhero. He immediately picks up the gun of the science teacher and attacks the science teacher with it. This attack turned dominant on them because the science teacher becomes a monster, and when the principal uses this gun to make him small, it mistakenly attacks him. He becomes so small in size that he can even sit on a fly. In all this, the gun falls in front of George and Harold. They somehow pick up the gun while breaking the towers made by the science teacher. Later, they try to make their principal huge, but the George's hand becomes large in all this. Meanwhile, the science teacher comes to take his gun, but during snatching the gun, it attacks the science teacher's face. His face becomes small, a small face on a huge body. In this fight, a bird becomes huge, and the school becomes small. Someone's house becomes small and tree becomes big. In this anger, Harold picks up the gun and makes everything fine but couldn't make his principal fine because he escaped while sitting on a bee. The police arrives, but they somehow reach their tree house with principal. Now they were worried everything become wrong because of them and they don't understand what to do. After thinking a lot, they think to break the ring through which we were hypnotizing the principal. Everything will become normal like before. What if the principal will make them sit in different classes? They can be friends even in different classes and will be together after school. After this promise, they break their ring and everything becomes normal. The next day, the principal comes to school and finds out that he has a friend in the last few days. Likewise, his loneliness is also over. That's why his habits are also changed. He was not that rude, but now he even smiles often. He was also nice to kids, that's why George and Harold have no problem with him. The principal is shown with his friend having dinner and seeing them. George and Harold were happy. On another side, the turbo toilet is shown who snatched everyone's laughter before. It activates in the garbage and all the small toilet near it become like it. They come to attack George and Harold because the turbo toilet was damaged because of them. Now who will save them from so many toilets? There is a twist in this story and it is shown the principal still can be hypnotized through a snap, and he snaps to make himself hypnotized and changes himself into the comic book superhero. Means make himself Captain Underpants and flies far into the sky with them while escaping them from toilets. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching. If you like it, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel.